We have a wonderful program with Mr. Josh Higgins, who went from playing in a punk rock band on the Warped Tour to designing for Barack Obama, the president, that Barack Obama. And also, until literally last week, he was in charge of a lot of important design at Facebook, aka Meta. Um, this is all full circle because I interviewed him a long time ago for another project I was working on called I won't say what it's called, but if it comes up, it comes up. But he sent me a present and it will come up in this show. I'm so excited.
Hello.
Josh.
Howdy.
Hey man, welcome to Bothering the Band.
I'm stoked. Thank you for having me.
We're stoked we can finally do this. As you know, I'm Ryan, but as you don't know, this is the producer of the program, Abby.
Hey, Abby.
And how it goes is we're going to ask you a bunch of dumb questions, but I was telling her, and we don't have to spend too much time on it, but you did another one of my interview series a long time ago based on design. And I wanted to show you something. I wonder if you remember this. You sent me something. You remember this?
Yes, I do. Gons.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about, we have some skateboard questions too, but I'll still have it. It's moved with me a few times. It needs some frame love, but that's just an illustration of how happy we are to have you on the show.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be here. Thanks for asking me. And just good to catch up.
Yeah, man. So again, another thing right off the bat, you and I had gone back and forth about this photo of Jawbreaker taken by Elliott Smith.
Yeah.
I've been chomping at the bits to know more about this.
Okay. I'm going to tell you the story. You ready?
Yeah.
So we were on tour with Jawbreaker, and the first time I remember was at the Crocodile in Seattle. Mm-hmm. And this guy was just hanging around like during sound check. And I'm like, usually, everyone. This one person I didn't know. And he was just hanging around, and we played the show. Then we went down to, I think the next place was, I think we went up to Vancouver, and there he was again. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so after we were done sound checking, I went around, oh, hey man, I've seen you the last couple of days. My name's Josh, so I'm Elliott. And so we hit it off. We talked music. He handed me Roman Candle. He said, this is my CD that I just came out. If you want to listen to it. And so on our way back down, I think the next show was in Portland. So we're driving down. And so we put it in, and I just remember me and our drummer Miles talking about it. And we're like, God, this is so good. And we were just really huge fans. So we got to Portland. We told him that. So his then girlfriend at the time played bass for a band called Junior High, which was a guy from Cracker Bash. It was his band. And Janet from Your Kinney played drums.
Oh, wow.
In that band. So it was like all-star lineup. Junior High was. Check them out. They were a great band. So then that photo was taken in Olympia, Washington. And that was, well, we didn't know it then, but that was Jawbreaker's last show ever. That's the show that they broke up.
Wow.
We didn't know that. So that photo was like, that was the last photo taken before they broke up.
So you have
Elliott took it. Sorry, Elliott took that.
No. Yeah. So what you're saying is you've been around amazing music history a little bit.
I've been very, very fortunate, yes, to be around some pretty crazy times. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. That one, it didn't hit me obviously till years later.
Yeah, of
when
course.
when when I was watching the Oscars. I was like, wait a minute, that's the guy.
Oh wow, yeah,
In his
Good Will
white
Hunting.
suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember watching Good Will Hunting and going, oh, that sounds like that guy. But yeah, pretty trippy.
I remember loving Good Will Hunting when I was a kid. That came out when I was in ninth grade, and I loved the soundtrack. But I was a punk rock kid, so telling people you were like, "I love this folk music," it's not on the table at that moment in my life.
I remember that as well. I mean, I had it playing in my car. Like, I think it was. I went through a divorce, and I had EXO playing like on repeat in my car.
Oh wow.
And I remember my friends getting in the car and go, "What the fuck, dude? Like, can you please put something else on?" But yeah, same.
If it's any consolation, we've all been there where we've been sad bastards, and playing shit in our car, and then our friends get in, have no clue what world we're living in. They're like, "Geez, really depressing in this Honda Civic, huh?"
Yeah, something's wrong with Josh, man. He's lost a lot of weight and he's listening to Elliott Smith.
Yeah. So what's the last music you listened to?
The question right, like just today, or like what did I listen to?
All right, so a couple things about Bothering the Band. There are no wrong answers.
Okay.
And you can take the questions as literal or figurative as you want.
Yeah. So. Okay. I've been doing this thing on just listening to random things that Spotify puts together. I know I'm not supposed to be listening to Spotify, but I haven't made the switch yet. So I listen to these random playlists, and I don't even know what's in there, but there's a song about Mount Everest that this guy sings, and it's really, really bizarre. And I wish I had it that I could tell you, but it's a song about the first lyric is Mount Everest don't have shit on me. And it's a really, really bizarre song, but I dig it. And then I've been listening to a woman, and this is probably a guilty pleasure maybe, called Marilyn Morris. I don't know if you know her. She historically was like a country singer, Nashville, and has gone sort of a little more mainstream. But again, I was listening to one of these playlists that Spotify put together, and she was in there, and she had a song with her husband that's a duet that I thought was really good. And so listen to that, because if I don't do that, I'm just like going back to listening to Bad Religion or Minor Threat, or so I cannot break myself out of like what I know, unless I just go explore like that.
That's how I am with movies, and it's either we got to go new, or shows too. It's either I got to dive into something new, or it's Seinfeld and Goodfellas just over and over again. Like, yeah. I think I know, but why are we transitioning from Spotify?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I didn't know. You're on the inside a little bit of that world, so I didn't know if it was that, or if you're like there's a new tool. And
no, that's a good question. No, my
who's Joe Rogan?
I hope exactly. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this, because she thinks I'm already off the platform.
So what would we go to? Like Apple, or
I guess so. I asked her, like, is Apple okay? Can I go to Apple? She's like, yeah, you could do that. Or Tidal is
yeah.
We don't have apparently we don't have Amazon in our house anymore. There's a few things. I guess my wife hates Jeff Bezos as well, so we're not going to contribute to him. I guess so.
Well, what about the big FB, the big Meta? What's your last Facebook status? And I think I know the answer to this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing that for years. You have to leave that company. And
you
I
just
did. I don't know
did.
if
You
I
just
just
did.
did. Yeah. I finally did.
Good for you. Can you talk about it? I don't know.
Oh yeah, totally. No. Sorry, man. I just,
Did they make you like give away a kid or?
no, man. I just, it was 9 years there. I loved it. And the only reason I left is because the opportunity that was presented with Stripe, where I went to, it was just sounded amazing to me. They're kind of in the same, very similar as far as a business and brand goes as Facebook was when I joined in 2013, and the challenges that are there. And I just had so much fun building things, teams and brands. And, I think back to when I worked on Oculus for the first time. No one knew what virtual reality was at all. And now it's, this past holiday, I was personally just very excited to see all these people sharing their videos of them in playing different games or, traveling in Oculus. And, it was pretty rewarding. And so,
we have video of Abby doing like karate or golf. I don't know. I can't tell.
Please share, Abby.
And it was right around the time of the Super Bowl. I was telling her to watch your Foo Fighter show. It's weird to say it like that.
Oh man, that was a good one. I actually watched the filming of that in VR as well. Which was awesome until the guy came to clean the camera and this huge hand comes up. It's so I pinged the line producer and go, hey, you got to give us a heads up before that happens.
You're freaking us out, man.
Yeah, that's too gnarly. But yeah, there was a lot of great moments in there that we couldn't put in because of licensing, but they were like playing Beatles songs in between, like there's a structured set that they had, and then while they were doing different setups, they would play Beatles songs and stuff like that. I was like, oh, we got to put this in, but we couldn't.
Yeah. So 2 questions. One, do you remember Virtual Boy?
No, I don't.
It was a Nintendo virtual. It was like Game Boy, but you put it, and it had to sit on like a desk, so you had to like put your face in it. I believe that's what it was called, Virtual Boy. I think that's what it was called. And it was red and black, like that's all it was.
Yeah.
And I remember I was too poor to get it, but I remember a friend of mine down the street got it and was like furious. He was like, it's not worth it. It sucks. Second question is, have you met Grohl?
Yes, many times.
Is he as nice as he seems?
He is. He's very nice. The first time I met him, our singer for Fluff is good friends with the whole Nirvana crew.
Yeah.
And they would come to our shows in Seattle. And that's when I first met him. And Chris Novoselic. And yeah, just like super, super kind. I think Chris, after one show at Rock Candy, I believe it was, he invited us over to his house and we went and had dinner. And just like super open and kind. And it was just, I was starstruck, obviously. I remember playing and I turned around to our drummer to look at our drummer, and then I saw him standing behind the stage. I was like, oh shit, I got really nervous. Probably fucked up, played 3 wrong notes or something. But that was really, 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 really great humans.
Yeah. Once again, just you find yourself in a giant moment of music history. Like, geez, this is even more than my research uncovered.
There's a lot of just like little nuggets that happened, during those days. Our singer Otis I was always amazed how many people he knew and was like, not just new, but like was very friendly with. I remember, well, before we signed with MCA Universal, we were talking with some other labels, and I think it was Atlantic Records flew us out to New York to talk with them, and we were waiting for a cab, and this cab pulls up, and all of two members and one road crew of Alice in Chains gets out of the cab and they go, "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, "Oh my God, this guy knows everybody." Yeah, it was he, and so I am forever indebted and like grateful to him for all the experiences and people. And he and I to this day are still best friends and talk probably weekly. I should say does.
Yeah.
But I'll never be able to thank him enough for
that's incredible, man.
For just like, yeah.
If you asked us like, top people to get on the podcast, like Dave Grohl is hovering one or two, Sure. It's for sure. He's just because he seems so funny too. It's like, he'd be perfect for this.
I think just like his personality, probably if he had the time, he probably would do it. I think it's probably just not the time that is like he probably doesn't have.
And it's also just getting like the right channels because I'm sure there's so many people or buffers between him and the real, or not the real, but someone like us,
Yep.
All right. So I was thinking about this question. I'm often blown away by, I'm 39. And like, as you get older, age gaps lessen. So what do you think the chances are Barack Obama was at some point at a punk rock show, like in Chicago? And if we're hypothetically talking about this, which show would it be?
I think, I don't know. That's a great question. I'm thinking about his ideology. I think it would be a straight edge show like Minor Threat, or maybe Bad Brains.
I thought Bad Brains first too. That'd be
really great. Bad Brains are awesome band. They have just so many like different influences,
Yeah. All right,
that's kind of. I think that's where I go. I don't think.
Let's send him a Bad Brains shirt.
I think
with the lightning bolt to the Capitol.
Yeah, so good.
I can't wait till like the universe manifests that. We're gonna see something in like People magazine, Obama with this shirt, and we freak out. No one else cares.
It would be amazing. Yeah, man, that's such a great fucking question, man. I was trying to think of all the bands. I'm like thinking of my favorite bands. Like, nah, he wouldn't go see Bad Religion. Nah, he wouldn't go see,
I was trying to think of something more like a pensive punk rock band. Minor Threat's, close. I don't more modern. I'm thinking like the Hold Steady or something like that.
Yeah.
Moving on. What's the last museum you went to?
Oh man. I haven't been in a museum in at least a couple of years. I think it was the Mingue Museum down in San Diego. It's it's like African. Well, it used to be African art. I think like recently they revamped it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was I believe was the last one I was in.
Cool. All right. First tattoo, last tattoo.
That's a good one. First tattoo was, and I remember my friend Pete Reichert. I had no tattoos, and I was going to get it. Like I got it right. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, got it right here. And he's like, "Oh, don't do it there. You'll pass out." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he was just fucking with me. And he's like, "Oh, you'll pass out." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." Here, he gave me a guitar pick. He's like, "Chew on this." so you don't pass out. And I'm like, okay. So I go in. Luckily, I knew the tattoo artist. And he's like, I go to put the pick. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I go, Pete said I would pass out if I didn't chew on a pick. He's like, no, you won't. And he's like, if you like put the needle in, he's like, do you feel that? And I'm like, not really. And he's like, that's about how bad it's gonna be. I'm like, oh man, fucking Pete. And then yeah, so he laughed his ass off after I told him that Pete did. So that was the first one. The last one was this is Snaps, and you know the artist Paul Frank. He like used to make like Paul Frank Industries. Yeah. That's from Paul Frank. He used to write me letters. We were friends, and that was how he used to love to just write handwritten letters and put them in the mail. And this one letter he sent me had all these doodles on it, and that was one of the doodles. And I said, I have to get that. And so he named it Snaps. So just randomly named that doodle Snaps.
Oh man, that's cool.
And yeah, he was a fan of our band before he was like the Paul Frank, and he came to our show and he made us matching guitar straps and a wallet. That was random pairing, but it was he made everything out of vinyl at the time.
Oh wow, okay.
He still does that a lot with his sewing machine, but yeah.
Very cool. I have a couple doodles from other folks tattooed on my body as well.
They're fun.
Yeah. When's the last time you pushed around on a skateboard? And what are we talking? Are we just pushing around? You popping shove-its? What are we?
We're talking strictly pushing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
We're talking pushing behind my 6-year-old son who's on a scooter. And he's like, Papa, go faster. And then I go a little bit faster around him. And then he's all, slow down. But yeah, I have mostly longboards just for cruising.
Yeah.
And then I am just doing that. I feel it after. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah.
Afterwards, I'm like, oh.
And it depends on the terrain too. If it's like like the driveway's brick, you go down it, you feel it. What are the boards behind you?
Oh, so those are at Meta Facebook. Mm-hmm. I had there's a wall by my office that I had over probably like 100 boards up that facilities put up for me. Because I used to just like, people would send me boards every once in a while, and I would lean them up against my wall. And one time our CMO Gary came and he knocked one, and they all went. And so I think it was either my birthday or a holiday. He asked facilities to put them up on a wall. And so they hung them all, but when I left, they all came down. And so facilities wrapped each one and sent them all to my house. I have like about 100 decks all piled up. So I started putting it up on my wall. Yeah. So sorry for that long. So that's
a great story.
The one at the very end is
that a Tom Penny?
No, that's it's a Narcake.
Okay.
That's the singer for Fluff. He makes skateboards.
Very cool.
He has one. This is his custom one, but he has something Dogtown makes of his shapes. That's a Melvin's board that I just got at a Melvin show, not too like right before the lockdown. Mm-hmm. That is the green one is Pal Peralta made. My friend Grant Britton, who's a photographer.
Yeah.
Made him 50 of those.
This Grant Britton.
That Grant Britton. That's the one. Yeah. And then that's a Jawbreaker board that Adam sent me. That is Billy Ruff. Do you remember him? The old skater Billy Ruff, pro.
Might be the generation before me.
Yeah, I'm old. That is from the Del Mar Skate Ranch.
Oh wow, very cool.
Yeah, and then that is another Grant Britton. That is his. That's just a photo montage, and then that one. Very very corner is Tony Hawk photo. that
that's
Grant and Tony signed.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
While we're on this, can you tell Abby about the photo of you and Mr. Barack Obama there?
Yeah.
Because you told me one time the handshake photograph story.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. So I may cry. So so the day after the election, that the victory, he came into the Chicago office unannounced. No one knew. He surprised everyone, and they called everyone into this main room, and then he gave like a thank you to all the people on the campaign. It was probably about like 700 people, I would say. And I was at the very front as he was, and you can find this thank you online if you search YouTube. He starts crying. Barack starts crying as he's thanking people, and I'm filming him with my phone like this, because I'm like every other time he had shown up, I'm like, I see people filming. I'm like, that's so disrespectful. It's lame. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, this is it for me. I'm not gonna I'm gonna just get this last run, you know. And so I go, after he's done, I go back to my desk, and comes. I'm like, oh, they're gonna take my phone. Damn it. And right behind them was Barack, and yeah, he was shaking hands with people, and you're always taught not to, you don't make movements around the president. You like let him make the first move.
Yeah.
And so he puts his hand out, and he said to me, "Thanks for making me look so good." And he puts his hand out, and I put my hand out, and then he starts pulling me in. I'm like, "Fuck, we're gonna hug right now," and yeah, he gave me that hug.
Oh, he gave you one like that. Oh.
And I fucking
man,
breathed in Barack.
What an amazing story.
And he smells so good. Yeah, and that was just just like he left. He like went on to like talk to some other people, and I remember people who saw that went, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Did anyone get a shot of that?" Like, and then about I didn't know that there was a photograph of it, and then a few days later, I was emailed that photo. They got two of them. They got one of the handshake, and then one of like the hug, which was cool.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man! Like,
so cool.
Maybe the coolest story we've ever had on the podcast.
Oh wow! Well, I'm honored if that's true. That's rad.
I mean, yeah, I'm not even blowing smoke here. Like that's it, And we had Tom Arnold on the podcast.
I know. I saw it. And G Love.
And G Love, yeah. G Love was great.
And many more.
Wow, you did your homework too, man.
Well, you know what I was doing, dude? I was making sure that there was a wide variety of people. And I was really pleased to see all the different variety of people, and that's on this. It's really, really cool. I haven't listened to all of them, but I listened to a few.
Yeah, we got ourselves a good little angle asking our favorite people in the music game really stupid questions. We feel it allows listeners, fans to get to know their favorite people a little bit more by asking like, what's your favorite open face sandwich and shit like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
We can't wait till we're big enough to where people say the host sucks, and then I'll just become
lame.
I'll become the writer, the head writer, and someone else will take over this responsibility. That's what we
Conan in.
We just reached out to Conan because at his heart, he's a musician. And we just he's up there too, man. I love Conan. I've seen him walk around New York a few times, and he's unmistakable. You can't miss him.
He's so tall, right?
He's so tall and red and just a beautiful, beautiful boy.
Yeah.
All right, this is another fun one. What's the most warped thing you saw on Warped Tour?
Oof, man. So, I can't name names, obviously.
Of course.
But they had catering for all the bands and 3 meals a day. And there was a particular person on the production team that no one liked. Like really fucking hated this person. Guy. It was so long ago, no one will ever know. Anyway, he always used to have smoothies made. And a few people spit into his smoothie. and then had it like, and then everyone watched as he took the first sip and everyone, I thought that was pretty warped.
That's pretty warped. That's the definition of warped. That
was pretty warped. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I think that was like probably the gnarly.
I don't know if you can top that. So
yeah, I don't think it can. Let's hold there.
When's the last time you had Oscar Mayer bologna?
Ooh, damn. The hot dogs don't count, huh?
Well, when's the last time you had an Oscar Mayer wiener? Let's throw that out there.
Yeah, not just a couple weeks ago, actually.
That's wild.
Yeah, my son loves hot dogs, and we buy a variety of different kinds. But yeah, we had Oscar Mayer in the house.
This question literally comes from like I was at the store and I passed like the Oscar Mayer section. I was like,
yeah,
I couldn't think of my own time having like the last time I had like bologna at all.
Yeah. I can't think of the last time I had bologna, but I do, I think the hot dogs are just basically rolled up bologna, right?
Hot dogs are just rolled up bologna.
But you have to ask a follow-up question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, I believe it is. I think it's meat between 2 pieces of bread.
Which is what the definition of a sandwich is.
Yeah.
Well,
but they have to be disconnected.
Does it have to be meat? You said, what about like a grilled cheese sandwich?
I think anything between 2 pieces of bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to point out my notes are like song and band music suggestions, and then hot dogs equal rolled up bologna.
Now we're getting somewhere.
I can't wait till one day in the future, some civilization is going to find this and be like, what the hell?
What was going on here?
Yeah. Do you have anything in storage?
Oh my God, yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
And man, this is top of mind because I just got an email. The pricing's going up. I'm like, man, is it worth it anymore? It's down in San Diego. It's been there since I moved up to the Bay Area. So, which is now over 9 years. I've been paying for storage on 27 bass guitars.
Oh wow.
All my equipment from the Warped Tours, like three 8x10 speaker cabinets, the amplifier, it's all in storage down there. And when I started, it was like $40 a month, and now I think it went up to like almost $100 a month. And originally I had, just didn't have the room. Now I have the room. I just haven't made the trek down to pick it all up.
How many times have you visited that stuff in the 9 years?
You know what? I have a friend of mine. I gave him a key that lives in San Diego just to go check on it.
Yeah, some say.
Yeah. I haven't personally been there in probably 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But I make sure that thing's paid, because what's inside that storage locker is like,
of course. I'm so happy you actually saved some of that stuff. And then also, like, when you finally do take the plunge and go pick it up and drive it back home or whatever, it's all new again. You're gonna it's gonna be, that day is gonna be a like top to bottom great day for you.
It's gonna be glorious. It is.
Yeah.
what's in there. It's just there's some things I know I don't remember. I know like there's some things in there that I probably don't even remember I have.
And then you're gonna find like a random spatula or something like that.
Yeah. Something that I just was like, what am I gonna do with this? I'll just do it.
Yeah, just chuck it in there. All right. Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, Josh Brolin, or Joshua Tree?
Oh man, one of them's definitely out. But I think I'll go with Josh Homme.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Josh Homme. I'm like Joshua Tree is awesome. I think those are two polar opposites, actually. Joshua Tree represents mellow, just like spiritual nature. And Josh Homme is just like chaos and just like loudness. So I think I gravitate towards the chaos.
And Brolin's out.
Yeah, Brolin's out.
Oh man. Do you get road rage?
I do. I've learned.
What's the scale?
7.
Okay.
On a 1 to 10. 7. Yeah, it's a solid 7. I've really learned to curb it with my son.
Yeah.
When my son's in the car, I'm just like, it's not worth it. Plus, I live in Oakland. A lot of people are getting shot in their cars recently.
Wow.
I don't want that.
No.
Road rage, like just road rage shootings, is like within the last few months, there's been like 5, which has been like pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, but I got really mad at this guy one time. I was just like so pissed and riding his ass and as he goes to get off the freeway, I pass him. He looks at me and goes and blew me a kiss. And I was like, it just diffused everything.
Of course.
Like, right away. Like I started laughing. I was like, man, that's the best thing that guy could have ever done. That was so beautiful. And it really like stopped that was what like stopped one of the things that like mellowed the road rage. I'm like, yeah, what am I getting so upset about? Like,
and that guy was Josh Brolin.
But yeah, and then just having my son in the car, I'm just like super, super mellow. Like you can probably cut me off, do whatever you want. I'm not gonna react.
Or it was Shepard Fairey. Trying to think who's the funniest we can go with here.
I like Brolin.
Yeah. Joe Biden. When's the last time you called complete bullshit on something, and what was it?
Oh man. I don't know. The thing I can, and this is kind of fucked, but my 6-year-old son tells me shit that I'm like, I call bullshit all the time. So if I'm being true to the question, it's my son. It's because he told me that he told me that they're what was it? What was the last thing? Today it was leprechauns.
Yep, I got the same thing. I was waiting for you to finish. I got the same thing. My daughter saw a leprechaun today.
Yeah.
And she was like, I blinked and she had a great story around it. She was like, I saw him out the window, I blinked and he was gone. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was me today too. I picked him up from school and he's like, he pointed where he saw them, and then there was like this green dust that I think the teachers or somebody put there. And he's like, see, Papa? Because I told them this morning before we went to school, I told them they're not real. There's no leprechauns. And he went to school, and then they did this. His teachers did this big thing. I'm like, oh, you asshole! Why did you say that? Like, I felt so bad for even saying that. I didn't realize it was going to be such a big thing at school. But
yeah, you forget about we talked to, I forget who we talked to about this, but you forget about things that were really important as children, like Groundhog Day. I remember when we were children, we like that was important to us.
Yeah.
We got to set our calendar by that.
Yeah, I felt really bad today about that. Like when I picked him up, I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that this morning. But
the good thing is with kids, you can reverse anything you say.
Yeah, I reversed it. I did. Yeah. I'm like, oh, amazing.
You're like, oh yeah, actually, I thought they were fake, and then I saw one too, and you're right back there. This is the most educated question: burps or farts?
Ooh, burps. I think burps.
Okay.
Yeah, burps. I just they're both pretty relieving, but like a good burp is like, settles the stomach.
A good burp. You're right. I might have to agree with you on that one. Abby, how about you? Burps or farts? Burps. All right. Yeah. I think okay, here we go. Let's dive deeper into this.
Yeah, let's go.
Farts are funnier.
Yeah.
Burps are more personally relieving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I have a thing with my wife where I don't fart around her. I never have. Okay. She doesn't even know that I fart at all. Because I just don't around her. I think and I ask her not to fart around me as well. I just, for some reason, it's like, that's my pet peeve thing. But my son, on the other hand, this morning farted on my wife's pillow, and she's like, God damn it, Leo. And I'm like, what's going on in there? It was like 7:30 in the morning. Leo farted on the pillow again. I told him not to do that. So he loves farting on everything.
I was going to say, is it a mission? Does he crawl up to the pillow?
Yeah, it's a mission. And if I'm laying on the ground, it's a mission to like get his butt in my face. And I'm like, dude, don't do that.
He knows they're hilarious.
I know they're hilarious. He laughs his ass off. And I really don't know where he got it, since like I don't fart in the house and my wife does. I don't know where he got it. School, I guess.
School, shows, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you when you were younger, did you call them crank calls or prank calls?
Crank.
Okay. I'm from Florida. We call them prank calls. And we always thought, especially when like Crank Yankers came out, we were like, who calls him crank? Yeah.
It's true. I don't know where that came from. I think I just heard it from somebody and just continued.
Yeah. Again, it might be a regional thing. As you can see, hard-hitting questions. We're journalists, that type of thing. Perfect. Who's worse, marathon people or polar plunge people?
I
forgot about that one.
I think marathon people.
Because they always want to talk about it.
Talk about the training. They talk about every piece of it. Where polar plunge people just like do it and then like,
yeah,
that's it. They don't train, talk about it. They just do it, and that's, they kind of keep to themselves a little bit.
I have to agree with you.
That's fair. It's like one and done, but marathons go all year.
Yeah.
All year.
Yeah. All year.
And the training, like you said, and there's always, I got my time is better.
All the gear, all the like the ointments and everything. Yeah. Chafing.
Yeah. I'm assuming you've been to a lot of cool events. Do you save all your lanyards?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I have all the lanyards from all the tours that we did.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time now they're wristbands.
Okay.
I don't usually save those.
Mm-hmm.
But I do save all the lanyards. And I think a friend of mine was a guitar tech for Social Distortion for a few years. And so I remember having, I think still on the refrigerator right now, there's like one of those sticky lanyards, I just took it off. I came home, I took it off, I put it on the refrigerator. I think it's still there.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I save those. They give those, you have to check in at my daughter's school and show your ID and shit.
Yeah.
And they give you those. They're very official. And I have all of those from her just when I went to like drop something off, for a teacher or something. I like that shit. And I knew you. I figured you might be like a lanyard saver. I mean, I save mine.
I save
somewhere.
everything, dude. I'm a pack rat. I'm a pack rat. I really
but
am.
you're a design guy, so I bet you're a neat pack rat.
For sure. Yeah. It's very curated, but it's but yeah, we're bulging at the seams with decks and posters, and I save a lot of posters. I have so many posters that I can't put up, but I'm like, oh,
yeah, me too, obviously. What's your favorite Nirvana song? I just thought of this. This is off the cuff.
Okay. Grandma Take Me Home, I think. I don't know if that's the actual name of it, but that's I remember that's like my very favorite. I don't know. It totally, like, when I first heard it, I'm like, oh, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I remember that was the one that I connected with the most.
Oh, sure. Brilliant. I just thought of something and it escaped my mind. Oh, here we go. Do you find yourself holding back ageist remarks like back in my day?
Yes, I do, because I'm old. Oh man. Today, a new assistant, like for travel and stuff, she asked me like my birthday. I was like, I don't know if I want to give it.
Yeah.
I feel so old in such a young person's game. But yeah, I don't know. I try to hold back on those. I just had that. I don't know if you have this. Both of you have this either. I had the conversation with a friend the other day, who's like, he's like, man, there's no music like that anymore. We're talking about like Nirvana and that whole '90s era, and I feel that way too. Like, I don't think there's bands like that anymore. But I said, but do you think that that's what every generation said? That's what I said to him. Has every generation said there's just not bands like that anymore because that was part of your generation? Or is it true that like those bands were some of the best? I don't know. What do you think?
Abby?
As a fan, I think there aren't bands like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there are great, like, I think what's on the radio is completely different than, there's a million good bands right now, especially with technology, so many great bands. But those great bands that we grew up with, one, were harder to they were either harder to find, or they were so big they were changing the game. So I don't think is there anyone like just totally changing the game right now? I think there's bands emulating those great bands and they're doing a great job. Yeah.
I don't know. I remember going to live music almost every night of the week when I was able to, just showing. There's a club in San Diego called the Casbah that we always went to. Going there, and I remember just opening bands. It's like blowing me away. Going, oh my God, that's a great band. Nico Case. That's how I saw Nico Case.
Wow. She
opened up for Alanis Morissette, who was also a new, like, on the scene. That was when Tyler was playing drums for her. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. But I thought I don't hear about that. I have friends that are going to shows still all the time who don't have kids. I just don't hear that anymore. I don't hear you got to check out this band,
I think it might be a mixture of both. Like we're a little bit out of it,
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's say we're out of it. Like the pandemic slowed things down too. You weren't going to shows and watching in the opening band and falling in love with the opening band and all that,
Yeah.
But I do think there is something special about pockets in generations, like late 70s, you had everything from Zeppelin to Velvet Underground. And then I think the 90s, maybe to 2002, just had such a great 12 years.
Yeah. I agree.
And even if you think about it, this is what I love. I try not to be back to like things we're trying not to say, like an ageist. I try not to be a music snob, because when people are like, what's your favorite 80s band? They're thinking 80s music. And I'm like, well, the Pixies were an 80s band, Replacements were an 80s band, Pavement's an 80s band. Like we're,
Soft Cell.
Wow. Yeah. So I find myself back to the ages thing. Like just
45
I think we have to bite our tongues.
Yeah, it's true.
But
it's
you
true.
also have to get really excited to share that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think there's a way to share it without being like, listen, you little whippersnapper.
Well, yeah. I also think another like, if you look at the bands touring right now, like the Melvins are still touring,
Yeah,
and Dinosaur Jr. is still touring and selling out, by the way, shows. I think that's also a testament to what we're saying, is that time was a very like special time for music,
Yeah, I just had a Dinosaur Jr. day like 3 days ago. That's like in the morning. I just popped it on. Sorry, go ahead, Em.
I was going to say the Melvins came to my tiny town and it sold out in like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
A few years ago. Like no one comes here.
I have a friend, shout out to my friend, Thomas Fucalaro, who is absolutely the best living poet in the world. And he hates when I say that. He is a diehard Melvins fan. He has like 12 Melvins shirts. He never misses them.
Yeah.
He goes to all their shows in New York and like Jersey and Connecticut, wherever they go. So I like that he still gets his fix. Fuck yeah.
That's awesome. That was the last show I saw, by the way.
Really?
Before the last live show I saw was the Melvins at the now closed Francisco.
Wow. Any shows coming up on the horizon that you're thinking about going to?
No, I'm not until we're past this craziness. I'm just not risking it. Not with I would risk it. I would be a little more like open to it if I didn't have a little one in the house.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just like, I have to think about that,
100%, man.
So I'm not, I'd love to go to some of the Jawbreaker shows that are coming up. I'd love to see some of those, but yeah, I'm just, crowds of people are still freaking me out right now.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. We've been to a few shows individually, and then as bothering the band, and it's fine, but you do feel like you're like, am I forgetting what is, like, you forget your what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
you're like, that guy's too close to that lady, and you're like, it's pretty wild. So what's next for you individually, and then what's next for you creatively and musically?
Yeah, well, creatively, I think Graham Britton and I are doing, I think that, have you seen his book that we did?
Yep.
That was like three and a half year project, I think. And right now I'm working with him on doing a poster series of some of his photographs. And so my interpretation of them, like graphic interpretation of his photos.
Oh, that's cool, man.
We did one for
Chris, like this,
Chris Miller. Yeah, just like the Gons one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But we're gonna do like a series of them. And then so I'm working on that currently with him, and then getting up to speed at Stripe right now. Yep. Currently doing the onboarding.
Yep.
Onboarding. I'm very excited about that. And
you'll have to circle back with them on tomorrow.
Just circle back and unpack some stuff.
Oh, man. I'll ping you later.
Yes.
Oh, devils.
Oh man, I mean, my wife keeps me like any of those words come out of my mouth, she like on me so quick. Like, do not say that again. I think I answered the question.
Yeah. Just okay. Tell the folks where they can find you, what you just promote, whatever you want to promote.
Most of my work is on my Instagram and my website, joshhiggins.com.
Yeah.
I usually share everything there in those two places.
And it's very cool shit. This man is very talented, and envious of your talent and the role you've played in music and some politics also. Jeez Louise. And this reminded me, what size shirt do you wear?
Oh, XL.
All right. We're gonna get you a Bothering the Band shirt.
Thank you very much.
Which we only send our favorite people. So
I'm stoked.
Yeah, man. Thank you, everyone. Follow Bothering the Band as well, all across the board. Yeah. Dude, this has been great, man.
It was really an honor. Thank you for asking me to do this. I appreciate it, and super fun too. Thank you. Really fun. Abby, it was very nice to meet you. Thank you for all the wonderful coordination, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. This was great. I had a blast.
Wait a minute, something's wrong. I never had that long to tell you how